Hello, welcome back to another video in Vedic astrology. In this video I am going to talk about the upcoming Saturn transit that's going to happen on November 2nd, 2014. For all those people whose moon sign happens to be Pisces, in India popularly known as Meena Rasi. Let's move on to the whiteboard to discuss the Saturn transit effect in detail. If you are a Pisces moon sign person or a Meena Rasi person, then you will have your moon in this part of the zodiac. It starts from here: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Mesha, Rishabha, Mithuna, and so on. And this happens to be the 12th sign or the last sign. So this for you will be the first house with reference to the moon sign. Counting from here, you can see that Jupiter is already in the 5th house. He was in the unfavorable 4th, and on June 19th, 2014, this year, he moved over from the unfavorable 4th into the favorable 5th house. Jupiter moving over the 5th house indicates that you will have good luck with children. If you are already blessed with children, then they will do well, and some important or positive events in their life is likely to happen during this year. The Jupiter transit holds good for 1 year. So that means it is until next year, July 2015. So also you will get plenty of opportunities, and you're bound to meet good people, great people, VIP contacts, etc. It can also be favors from the government or people in power. The last one is guidance, because Jupiter is actually the guru or the guide or the teacher. It can be astrologer, it can be a lawyer, or it can be anybody who tells you which way to go. But let's see what happens on November 2nd, 2014. Saturn, which has been in the inauspicious 8th house. It was here for 2.5 years. And so the first thing that you say on November 2nd, 2014 is, thank God I have completed the 8th house transit of Saturn. Meena Rasi people did go through a lot of problems. So the good news is that on November 2nd, 2014, it at least is the end of the Ashtama Sani. So that itself is good. But even then, when he moves over into the 9th house on this particular date, it does not turn positive, because you can see some of the negative things written here. Loss of wealth, lots of obstacles and problem with father, etc. But in comparison, you can always say that life is all about comparison. You always compare and then see whether you are happier or unhappier, etc. So comparing the past, then this is definitely a better place for Saturn to be in. What you'll have to look at is the possibilities of loss of wealth and lots of obstacles. And if you have a very aged father, then possibly there's a decline in his health. Or if it is a grandfather, also it can apply to a grandfather. Usually father-like people in your life. So this is because the 9th house is the house of father. It's also the house of guidance, just works against this. Jupiter in the 5th, but whenever it is like this, a favorable Jupiter transit and then an unfavorable Saturn transit, you will have to give Jupiter, you'll have to give credit to Jupiter, because Jupiter is a big mighty planet, and guidance, if you seek guidance, then obviously the effect of Saturn in the 9th would get reduced. Saturn in the 9th also means that you will get a little confused about your own religion. You might question your religion. You might stop going to temples, and which is just the opposite of what Jupiter in the 5th indicates. So for the first 1 year, you are not likely to actually see all this in full. But after Jupiter moves over, exits the 5th house and enters the 6th house, then you are likely to go through all this, whatever is indicated, because Saturn is in the 9th house. So in conclusion, we can say that no matter what Saturn indicates in the 9th, you are not going to see most of it, you are not going to feel most of it, because as long as Jupiter is in the 5th, it's not really going to affect you. Another way of resolving this conflict is that you can check what is the score in the Sarva Ashtavarga chart in Cancer or Karkataka, and if it is greater than 28, then Jupiter will obviously win. And in the Ashtavarga of Jupiter, if you find the score is 4, and let's say, or greater than or equal to 4, And in your case, if you are lucky, let's say you have an 8 score, then surely Jupiter in the 5th will come out as a winner against Saturn in the 9th, which is just trying to negate whatever Jupiter in the 5th is trying to give you. So on the other side, if you refer to the Sarvashvarga of Vrishika Rashi and then find how much points is there, how much point you have obtained in Vrishika, and if it is greater than 28, then you will have less of these obstacles and problems associated with Saturn in the 9th. In Saturn's Ashtaka Varga, if you find the score is greater than or equal to 3, even then all this would be much reduced. You are not going to see the full effect of this. But suppose if it is 0 or 1, and then let's say here you just got a 3. So then in that case, for all those people having this sort of combination, we'll find that Saturn becomes really problematic despite the fact that Jupiter is in the 5th. So I have come to the end of this series where I have I started with Meena Rasi and then I completed the 12 Rashis with regard to Saturn Transit and Jupiter Transit all put together. The reason for combining the effects of Saturn and the transit of Saturn and Jupiter is that these two planets are big mighty planets in the sky. They have a big role to play. Saturn always is the planet that indicates the blocks, and Jupiter is always the indicator of removal of the blocks, because guidance and teacher and all those things are associated with Jupiter. That's the reason why we should always study them together. But remember one thing, that there are 7 other planets in your horoscope and they also have a great share. Even if you leave out Rahu and Ketu, then also you have another 5 left, and that means you will also have to consider these the transits of other planets, Sun, the Mars, Mercury and Venus and the Moon, of course. Despite whatever we have said here that Saturn is still not favourable in the 9th, it does not mean that on all days you will be affected by Saturn in the 9th. From experience, I found that Saturn always works only on Saturdays, on 8th, 17th and 26th, and during the days when the star happens to be the 8th star, Pushyami or Pushya, or the 17th star Anuradha, or the 26th star Uttarabhadra. And all other days you are not going to see that much of trouble. So I hope you have learned a few things from this video, and I'm going to come up with some new videos on very interesting topics. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do that immediately, because I'm going to do a lot of interesting videos, which is going to be those little drops that is finally going to become an ocean of Vedic astrology in your life. Thank you so much for watching this video.